Yeah.
Explain. Elaborate.
No, I want to elaborate.
There are women that are stronger than men.
You can't say, oh, because I'm a woman, I want to run in the men's 100-meter races. A, you will never win.
Do you think it's right to teach kids, and I talk about kids here, heterosexual sex?
Hold on. What are you talking about?
Get involved.
My name is Sexuality. Yeah, I'm the hostess of the most. There's all of them ting gang gang show. Is equality getting out of hand?
Yes. Yes.
Explain. Elaborate.
No, I want to elaborate. It's just out of hand. Not joking. I think it is. I think there's two, like this whole, just in terms of women. Not. I won't start with Ashley. Sorry.
You're
Actually, you know what? Yeah, sorry. Women. That will be my standpoint. Mm-hmm. Women. The whole. I understand where it comes from in terms of like there was or may still be a time where women earn less, all that stuff there, and I get that. But I think that has created a breed of women that are striving with a bit too much energy to be equal.
Do you want to give an example of that?
I don't have an example. You know, I think it's more a energy than an example thing.
An energy.
Yeah, just in terms of
it's a thought that he's trying to say.
A demeanor.
In life.
Alright.
A demeanor, an energy.
Do you agree with this?
I just think, as again, on the other hand, I think to a degree, yes, some things are not really needed. I mean, once
What's not really needed?
What I'm trying to say is that if the law states that everyone should be treated equally, then that's it. Once the law states that, there's nothing else that needs to be done. But if people want to go out their way and think that they are, being oppressed or by some certain situations, then I agree to fight your corner if you think or you can prove that there is a form of oppression. If you can't prove it, then it doesn't make sense. And if you're not being reasonable about proving that there isn't a certain oppression going on, then that doesn't also make sense as well. Therefore, your point should be invalid. So, equality itself is only stems to services and employment. But I think there's some great areas where you can't force equality because as a whole construct, not all equal, and that's between men and men, women and women, and men and women, and any subcategory you fall into. You know, you can't say, oh, because I'm a woman, I want to run in the men's 100-meter races. A, you will never win, and B, what's the point of that? So I'm saying that that's where the lines will have to draw. But you have to be logical.
So first of all, never win. That's pushing.
Yeah, that is pushing.
That's not true because there are women that are stronger than men.
That is 100% fact.
No, that's not. It's not.
Should we have an arm wrestle?
Can I chime in there very quickly? Sorry, so let me just chime in there very quickly. I think what he means by that is if we're to take the fastest men and the fastest women and put them into a final, the women wouldn't win. We're not saying that.
Not never though.
Do you watch athletics?
I don't, but I don't think you saying never is mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you say it's never mad.
No, you saying never is mad. Because you said like
never.
A woman.
You're saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
For a woman to be a man in a race.
No, that's
we're looking at
that is what you said, but maybe that's not how you should word it.
As a competition, the men 100-meter final is a 100-meter final for the men, and the women have their own 100 meters finals. It wouldn't make no sense chucking a man into the women's 100 meters finals. Yeah, if you look at the world records for the women who run the 100 meter finals, the time difference between the women and men, you will see that there is evidence to prove that the men run faster than the fastest women in the world.
I'm going to Google that.
You can Google that. You can't push equality where you can't push that.
I think
equality
biologically, women and men are made up differently. Our bodies are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, we can't be equal because of our bodies. So men obviously can't have kids. Like, well, now possible. But men,
women can't
yeah.
have kids either.
No, but I mean like men physically don't have the same biological makeup
To
do what women do.
Yeah.
And there's some things that men can do that women can't do physically.
Yeah.
People are just saying something about things just to be able to say something about it.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So if a woman wants to be topless, is that her right and her choice to be topless?
Of course, that's her right.
And she's getting paid to be topless. That's her right and her choice.
Of course, 100%.
You would find that in society, men don't have a problem with women generally being topless in the West.
Sure, they
In
don't.
the West, yeah.
But
No, let me finish.
they want to see that.
But it's actually the feminists that are telling that they shouldn't be doing these jobs and these jobs are degrading for them.
You're right.
And then getting rid of the jobs for the women that are getting paid for them.
You're right. I had this discussion once. I got asked about this in an interview once, and they were saying that they were going to scrap their F1 grid girls.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would they do that? It doesn't make sense to me because apparently they're saying that it's degrading and stuff like that for women.
The women were saying that to other women.
Yeah, to get the jobs taken away. Yeah, I heard about that. So I was like, that doesn't make sense to me because if the women are doing it in the first place,
and they get paid.
it's obviously their choice, it's their job, and they're happy doing it.
Yeah.
So who are these other people to say that it's degrading and these women shouldn't do this job?
I think in regards to things like that, so girls who hold up the cards when it comes to boxing or F1, there's no male version of that job. So when it's a female boxer or F1 driver, you're not going to see the men going
but
like this.
there's a reason for that because their main target audience is men.
Yes.
Right.
So that is why. Like if I went to a male strip club, I'm not going to see women stripping, am I? Because
you would. That's the thing. So if you were to go to a male, if you go to a male strip club, right, there are women acts anyway. There's probably one or two, but it's not going to be a lot, but you will still see it. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
So like in regards to that kind of job, I think that like a lot of individuals feel as if it's not a dual role. So men aren't doing it, and there are individuals who are like, oh yeah, but I would rather see a man hold up the board.
Okay,
so
why don't they start their own F1 or their own version of
because
F1
it's not going to be on the same scale.
But then no one's stopping them from doing that.
Yeah, but it's not going to be on the same scale.
So this is just talking about business, right? If I have a business and a business model, and my business model employs pretty women to do certain things in my business model, and they get paid to do it, and they're happy to do it, then there's no problem with it, right? But if someone has a problem with how I run my business and says, oh, this woman shouldn't be doing this and so forth, whether they're men or females, the men are not doing it, well, why don't they start their own business and get the men to do it and get their customers to come in so they can watch the men do the job instead of the women? That's fair, isn't it? If you have a problem with just females holding the cards and you want men to do it, why don't you do your own boxing matches where you have men holding cards?
Because it's just not going to be on the same scale.
But whose fault is that? Is that mine or yours?
Yeah, but like that's what it is. Like they just see it as, a lot of people just see it as, but if I was to do this, it's not going to be on the same worldwide scale as if F1 does it.
Yeah, but F1's established, but you can establish it.
But I think what they should do is not create their own, but maybe create a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a strike, what is it called? Like
a protest.
What? A protest, to protest and say, we want to be involved.
Right, it's a private business. Like, F1 didn't happen overnight. You didn't get one day F1, Formula 1 racing, and it's just big and massive. It's something that grew. Same way NASCAR and any other sporting event did not happen overnight. You have to start from scratch and work your way up. Women's basketball didn't just start overnight. It's something small, and it got bigger and expanded.
And then, but even if you were to talk about women's basketball, like women's basketball is not on the same scale as the NBA.
NBA didn't happen overnight either.
Yes, but with men's basketball, a lot of women still up to this day are like, well, we need to be recognised the same as a male basketball player because female basketball players, they've got the same skill set as
2 arms, 2 legs.
right.
Yeah.
and they're not getting paid on the same level.
Yeah,
They're not being recognised at the same level. They don't get the same endorsements.
So
the same as football.
Can I say in football,
Same as,
Division 3 players do not get same paid, the same as Premiership players do.
Right, but then the same division within the men's and the women, they won't get the same pay.
No, because it's about how much money is in the pot.
Yeah.
But it's the same sport.
No,
and it's within the same...
but they're not making enough money because people are not supporting it enough.
Right. And why are they not supporting it? Because it's a woman playing.
Because of what they want to see.
No, hold on. Let me break this down to you, right? You work. You earn your money, right?
Right.
You make the decisions of what you want to spend your money on.
Okay.
Yeah? How many women's basketball games have you been to?
Quite a few.
Then they get paid for that. But if I don't go, who's it my fault? Because I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, but then isn't that
so
then?
It's not. You can't blame the organisations why they're not getting paid if people are not coming to watch it. If the people don't come, it's not my fault. This is capitalist society. We only service. Business can only run when people pay for services.
But in
if people
regards
don't
to
pay for that service, how can you then say, oh, the men get paid more, but the women don't get paid? If the men's stadium's always packed and the women's are not, whose fault is it?
Yeah, okay, so if we're going to talk about the men's stadium versus the women's stadium, in regards to sponsorship, yeah, the women don't get the same amount of sponsorship
but
that
the women
men's
don't,
do.
I will be this and I will be honest, yeah, because I believe that you put the effort in, you put the work in, and you should get the reward, right?
So you're trying to say that women's athletes don't put in the same type of work as the men athletes?
In the women's basketball, I think, if you're looking at, what's good in basketball, you got different ways of shooting. You got three-pointer shots. You got people doing that.
So you're saying that women aren't dunking as much as men? Is that what it is?
Statistically, women don't do as much dunks as men. I think there's only
and the women that do,
a couple of them that do.
I feel like the justification of why men get more than women versus why women get less than
sports. We're keeping it in sports.
It's how much do you entertain?
There is a sport, right? I think it's American football where the women wear it's basically pantambra, right? And it's an aggressive version of American football, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That, right, is entertaining for men because the women are going ape shit on the other woman. So the man, they get paid. They get paid.
Yes,
they do get paid.
They get paid a lot.
I think. I don't know I don't know if they get paid a lot, but I know that it's something that I think they get paid a good amount.
Yeah, they get paid.
So they get paid to basically show up.
Yeah.
It does not matter about the quality of what they're doing. They just want to get. They know that if they punch, basically.
Yeah, of course.
Basically,
the same as cheerleading, sexualized. Then we're looking at, which is why we can go back to the F1 and the boxing thing. It's kind of similar to cheerleading. It's just having a female strut up and down for a bit during the break or whatever, and that is what they're getting paid for. You know what I'm saying? So it's all the level of entertainment.
And what's the point you was trying to make in regards to this NFL sport? Because
I can't remember the point I was trying to make, which has really annoyed me.
She was basically saying that why is the NBA so much bigger than
no, I wasn't.
In essence, you're trying to say those women get paid and the women that do it properly.
So there's an audience of watching sexualized sports, i.e., this aggressive American football versus just a normal NBA, like women's NBA game. So you would so what I'm trying to say, do you know what? Actually, what I want to know is the pay gap between that form of.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Are you a communist?
I don't think so.
Are you a capitalist?
I kind of, unfortunately.
Are you a socialist?
I don't know if I can put what I like me in a box.
Why is that wrong?
But
because the point that you're trying to make is based on economics, right?
Right.
And like I said, economics, I believe, if you put the effort in, you should reap the reward. Yeah. Now, business is business. If you're going to do a sport where you're going to sexualize yourself, be aggressive, and people come and pay to watch it, then you make money.
No, I think that what we should say is that sex sells.
Hold on, let me finish.
Right.
Yeah? If you're going to do a business where it's interactive entertainment, like wrestling or whatever, people pay, people will go to watch it. Not even half, majority of the population is female. There's more females in the population than there's males. If you're complaining that people in sports and entertainment are not getting paid enough or not getting the sponsorship or the support, then who's to blame?
Women have only just found a voice within this society. I think that I think that a lot of men and organisations
When did you find
forget.
a voice? When did you find a voice in society?
What do I?
When did you women find a voice in society?
When I would say recently, I would say within the last under 50 years.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
29.
So you haven't been silenced in your life. So if you haven't been silenced
by
in your
what?
life,
What do you mean by a man?
You're saying that in the last 50 years, women have found a voice.
Yeah.
So that means you can exercise the right.
Do you know what? Yeah.
If you're talking about older women,
right,
who are over 50, then now I understand you're saying, they might still feel away because they've gone through the whole system of oppression and so forth.
But these are organisations that are over 50 years old.
The women's NBA is not over 50 years old.
No, sorry, that are under 50 years old. So obviously, when men's basketball started off first, and then women were still trying to get into the NBA. So the first. Do you know what? I really wish I had stats to back myself up.
What I'm trying to say to you is that in 2018, or we're going to 19, you have the opportunity. Women have the opportunity to make their own money and spend on what they want to spend on. Yeah. If women don't choose to spend going to watch other women in the NBA, or if they don't want to spend their money to watch other women in women's football, or they don't want to spend their money to go and watch any other women's sporting event, just talking about sports solely, you can't turn around and say, where is the money and where's the sponsorship deals coming from?
So it's just women that should be watching women.
No.
So since we're talking about sports, and we're complaining about the fact that women aren't getting as much sponsorship as men. Yeah. So us women now need to only watch female sports that we can now say, but we're doing our part. What about you lot doing your part? So what you're trying to say that you don't want to watch a woman on screen?
If I'm watching men's football, say I'm watching the Premiership, and then I watch the women's football Premiership, and I'm not interested in the women's football Premiership, I have the right to spend my money that I earned on what I want to watch. I don't watch football, by the way, but I have the right to spend it. If I don't find it entertaining, I won't watch it. As simple as that. So you can't complain and turn around and say, you have to do this just for the sake of equality and stuff like that. Because I don't have to do anything.
So recently men have been complaining about how equality is getting out of hand. This is the basis of this whole question.
I can reflect that into the grand scheme of things. The role of men for the last couple of thousands of years has not changed much up until today. It hasn't changed that much. It's starting to change, it hasn't changed that much. We've been consistent in what we've had to do or where we've had to be. The role of women has changed considerably since the Second World War. They've changed and moved into a whole new playing field. So the dynamics of the system has changed from what you thought was a normal lifestyle or society or normal household has changed now because the other half of the relationship or the other half of society have changed their priorities and changed how they see themselves and what they want to do. Yeah? So the dynamics has changed. So men are having to learn to deal with this change in society and the changing roles. And now you have fathers that are starting, some of them are giving up their jobs and staying at home with their kids. Some guys can't change, they don't know how to adapt to it because they're not used to this, because they know what they are.
But there is a lot more house husbands nowadays.
There are.
A lot more.
There are. They're still a minority.
Yeah, but there's a lot more.
But there are. So what I'm trying to say is the dynamics of society has changed. Yeah? And even the voting dynamics of society has changed. So who puts the prime ministers and the presidents into parliament? Most of the people that vote in the country are women. And they choose Donald Trump didn't get in.
Yeah, but then we're not. It's not like we're literally.
Are you blaming women for Donald Trump?
He didn't get it through the men's votes. Most of the people that vote in the West are women.
Wait. In regards to Donald, it wasn't female voters. It was male.
You think there's no women in America?
No, I'm not saying that there's no women, but I do know for a fact that it was a male. it was a male-dominated
Most of the
vote.
people in the West that vote are women.
I used to always vote for women and black people, and and that was before I started to actually read into like politics and understand
and
it.
that's what, if you continue that, that's where we'd. I mean, if a lot of people do that, I'm sure that's where we would fail.
Some people still do it,
It
but
should be. It should be on policies and what they are promoting. But regardless of that, what I'm trying to say with equality is that the dynamics of society has changed and has evolved. Systems haven't. The law systems have definitely need to be reformed. There's a lot of things which is always one-sided in terms of equality. If you're true believers in equality, then you're true believers in, like, if I do a crime and get 10 years or life, then you should get the same punishment. You shouldn't get lenient sentences just because you're a woman and can cry in the court.
no, I hear that. I even agree with that.
Yeah. And
However,
also,
if I've got a family, I don't want to leave him. I think I should get 4 years instead of 10.
I think you should just be judged and judged the same way as a man should be judged. I also think if it comes to what's the other thing? People talk about family court. I also think it should be just split down the line. It's 50-50, and there should be no leniency whether you're a male or woman. I also think equality in the workplace. Well, they say the equality in the workplace, and I say by law everyone has to be paid the same amount. So I don't understand. They say there's not enough female managers or executives or CEOs at the board of companies. But our perspective, someone would say the reason why there isn't so many of them is because a lot of women like to have families and like to start their families. And if your time a man gets into an executive or board director role, they're usually in their late 40s and so forth. For a woman, she's got, if she's had 1 or 2 or 3 kids or something like that, she's got responsibilities that she generally chooses to take care of because women are kind to nurturing and being compassionate and loving their children.
Did you know that when like a woman goes for a job interview, if she's married, she's less likely to get the job? Did you know that? Mm. Because they think that if she's married, she's probably going to have kids in a couple years or however long, and she's going to need to take maternity leave and whatever, and that's how they look at it. That's wrong? Yeah, I think that's wrong, because if she's coming to work, she's coming to work. It doesn't matter if she's married. Maybe she doesn't want to have kids. Maybe she can't have kids. Okay. At the same time, I don't think that's fair, because that married woman, like, if she's not going to get employed, then what?
So what do you think the solution to the problem is?
I don't know what the solution is. I'm just saying I know that there's a problem.
I think it's an issue when individuals see starting a family as an issue, as a disruption to a business. Because number one, why are you not providing something for this individual, for this woman to like stay at work? For example, have like a nursery within that. Do you know how many businesses would boom if that was something within a business? If you had a daycare,
you also have to remember it's the cost of the business.
Okay, it's the cost of a business,
also,
but you just said that maternity leave is the cost of a business too. But then at least you're paying. Would you rather pay someone to not be at work, or would you rather pay for their childcare and then still have them working for you?
The thing is, you got to remember.
What's more effective?
Well, then
this is a private entity.
More money because you're paying for the person to be at work and then you're paying on top rather than just
but then you're getting something out of it. You're paying maternity but you're not getting nothing out of it.
Yeah, exactly. But you're paying double, and then at the same time as well, you also remember there's other risks highlighted. It's not to say, oh, you just have a nursery, but then what if something happens to that worker's child at nursery? Then you've got a law case. Yeah?
Why would something happen? Then you as a business owner, why the hell is
you're hiring the wrong people?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
There's like, nothing in this world is guaranteed 100%.
Do you know why Guinness is probably one of the best companies to work for? Yeah. Like, people do not want to leave Guinness when they work for them. Yeah. That's because they provide them with all the type of support that they actually need on a daily basis. You know that you spend more time at work than home. Yeah, Guinness provides like a space where, you know what, you can sleep at work, you're able to see your kids because your kids can stay at the workplace, you know, you can see them on your break, go back to work, pick up your kids, go home, and then repeat.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Is that Guinness Global or Guinness Island?
I think it's global.
So Global Guinness provides you all these services.
It provides their employees with these things, and that's because they value their employees, and they know that their employee is at work most of the time, and I think that's the thing that a lot of employers neglect.
That's another question.
Go on.
So how does that help the local entrepreneur whose business is only turning over £500,000 a year? Because Guinness is a multinational corporation,
right?
So it's global and it's worldwide. So
obviously it's not going to be on that scale, but I think
they can afford to provide that.
Do you think it's right to teach kids, and I talk about kids, heterosexual sex?
How old?
Wait,
no, kids under
teach
10.
them heterosexual, about sex.
Nothing about
heterosexual sex.
No.
So you're talking about kids about sex?
Yeah.
Normal.
So what ages are we talking about?
So they're under 10.
Under 10.
Yeah.
So sex education starts from year 5? So that's when you're
about
8.
10, 11.
Yeah,
10, 11.
Like you're 8 around them times.
You're 10, 11.
But when it comes to year 5 is not 10, 11.
It is.
10, 11 is
it is.
Is year 6.
It starts around year 4.
But
it does.
But what's it? So obviously, but when it comes to sex education, back in my day, they weren't talking about, okay, so this is the penis, this is the vagina, this is how it goes inside. Sex education should just be like, okay, so this is your body, this is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And then when they grow older, that's when you talk about sex. But because there's so many, children are so exposed to a lot of things, we have to talk about the different types of sex.
Okay. So you won't talk
different
about
types of sex or
different
just
types
sex?
of sex. No, we need to talk about different types of sex because abuse doesn't have a sexuality. Because an uncle will be touching his nephew. Do you get what I mean? And an auntie will be touching her niece.
Yeah.
So they need to know.
But I'm saying in regards to
there's a different
teaching kids about sex like that, and then you're telling them about this relationships and blah blah blah, man and woman, this is how you came about and stuff like that. So you think you take this young inquisitive mind and you walk down the road and it's just gay parade. What's this about? Oh, and you will bar it up and say it's between the love between two men or two women. How do 2 men and 2 women love each other?
I wouldn't get into detail with my child at your age. I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. But I'm saying this is a young inquisitive mind.
I would get into detail. I would get into detail simply because
how do they express love? How do they express love? How do they do this?
No, but it depends on how old the child is.
10-year-olds these days are very
hold on.
smart.
Can I
say to them, sorry.
No, go on.
If we say to them, it's just a man and a man that love each other or whatever, they may only have one concept of love. So they're going to grow up thinking it's just that one concept of love and then learn again that, hold on a second, it's not just what I thought. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be explained, not in its entirety, but with bullet points to suit the age. But it still has to be specific to what that love is. You know what I'm saying? So even if you were to say, so the same way mum and dad love each other, a man and a man can love each other or whatever.
There's a reason why if you're in your living room and you're watching TV, and you can see the sex scene coming on, you chuck the thing over the kid's head.
But that's because you're watching sex.
You don't let them see this. You don't let them see this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they're watching sex. But then if your child was to come to you and say, okay, why didn't you allow me to watch that scene?
How does the babies come around? So then they go, okay, daddy puts the baby aside on me. Okay, so then John's got 2 dads. So how did they have a baby?
And then you explain.
I don't know how to say that.
No, you would explain. You should be able to explain. You should be able to explain that.
The drunken power.
What are you talking about? You should be able to explain that they had a surrogate mother and now they adopted.
What's surrogate mother? What's adopted?
No, but like obviously
someone else's mum
even
gave
straight
you a child.
parents can have a surrogate mother or adopted.
You would have to articulate.
You need to explain these things to kids because now we live in a world where everything is so
I don't agree with that
different.
Stuff
Okay, you don't agree
with
but you still have
telling your child everything.
Well, first of all, I agree with telling your child everything, but I don't agree with same-sex couples having kids.
Why? Because there's parents out there that are a man and a woman that are so destructive. Hold on. What are we talking about?
Get involved.
Hold on. I need to land. I'm about to land.
You don't think all heterosexual parents couples should have kids, but do you think all homosexual couples should not have kids?
Yes.
All of them.
But that's
there are couples that.
No, that's the life they chose.
They may.
No, you're not thinking about the child. You're just saying, they can raise the child.
No, but sometimes they're really good parents.
No, but let me tell you this.
But this is not about the parents now. This is about the child.
But they're good parents to the child.
They provide.
But how is the child growing up though, psychologically? What's
How do you know? But like, what difference is two genders?
It's huge. It is very.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
Right.
It's huge. It's basically the same way you can have an effect, but by a man or by a young boy not growing up with a dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing he's missing from not having a dad is the same thing a child can miss from not having a dad or not having a mum.
Yes.
But the same thing they can have from being a single parent. It's the same thing.
But that's what That's the point you just made.
Okay, but
if you're two dads,
okay,
you're gonna miss out on having a nurturing mom.
But
if
then
you have 2 mums.
But then that means single parents shouldn't have kids either.
You're saying if you
can't be a mum and dad.
A mum can't be a mum and a dad.
Okay.
If you have a dad, it can't be a
Okay, so are you telling me that single parents shouldn't have kids?
I'm not saying they shouldn't have kids because they don't have kids by themselves. They have a
okay,
child.
But you're telling me they shouldn't raise a child. Are you telling me that single parents shouldn't raise a child because they're still gonna miss out on
single parents should be able to work alongside with the other parent.
Okay, so imagine there's kids out there that don't have no parents, they're foster kids, orphans, yeah?
That's
so you're telling me you would rather them be an orphan living in a care home or whatever than being
most probably molested by a fucking guardian than two dads.
Listen. My point is, say you've got a youth that's in a dire situation, man's life is mash up and he's able to get a better opportunity in a same-sex household. Do your thing, find a way to survive in it. What I'm saying is 2 man or 2 women, aka Elton John and his brother, shouldn't be rolling up to hospital taking a baby and just raising up this youth.
Okay, so they can take the child when they maybe hit 3, 5.
Doesn't matter.
I'm basically saying, I personally think I know you're saying, and you got compassion, but I have no compassion for none of that. I'll just say,
so they shouldn't have kids whatsoever.
That's
at all.
I think it's
I
think if you chose your lifestyle, if I chose to be no. If I got a woman, and I chose to be with her, and she says she's barren and she can't have kids, that's my lifestyle.
Okay.
I can't have kids in it.
So you wouldn't adopt, you wouldn't do none of that.
But then if we wanted to go down the road and
so you're not going to adopt because your lifestyle now is the fact that a woman can't have kids.
No, I know it's not the best of examples.
No, it's not.
But what I'm trying to say is that if I chose to be with the next man and it's biologically we cannot have children, then we can't have children.
That's fucking dumb.
Why is that dumb?
That is so dumb.
There's no need to swear.
I'm sorry, because you know why it annoys me?
Don't go anywhere.
I feel like I feel like straight men, Straight men. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, straight men see gayness as just 2 men. They don't particularly see, they don't have an issue with lesbians.